Hi everybody and welcome to this video which is about time signatures. It is aimed at those who are working on theory exams, people who are learning music in general, and those that are curious. First we're going to discuss what a time signature actually is. Well, it's something that you'll find at the beginning of your piece of music, and it's a stack of two numbers. We have a top number and a bottom number. The top number tells us how many beats are in a bar, and it's the one that most people recognize and can understand. The bottom number is often a little bit of a mystery. What the bottom number is actually telling us is the units that we are counting in. So just as if you are measuring something with a ruler, you might be measuring in centimeters or inches, you can count music in different units as well. Most commonly, you'll see a 4 at the bottom, which means we are counting in crotchets, which is a quarter of a semibreve, hence the number 4. So everything is based from the semibreve and we divide it up from there. A 2 at the bottom would mean we are counting in minims, 4, as we said, is crotchets, 8 would be quavers, and so on. So if we have a look at this table, I'll show you all of those comparisons so you can see what units you're counting in. Now, what does the time signature actually do for our music? What is the implication of the time signature? Well, a lot of people will infer different meanings from it, but what it actually tells us is just the number of beats in the bar and what we're counting in. It's kind of like setting up the grid for where we can place the music within each bar and how our music will be laid out. I think it's also important to state what it doesn't often do. It will not often represent the speed of your music or the style of your music. However, I am saying often because we do heavily associate certain styles of music with the time signature that they are written in. But we'll also find contradictory examples which go against the grain on purpose to create some interest in the music. So be careful when you see your time signature just to make sure that you understand what it does and doesn't mean. Now let's talk about the two main types of time signature that we will see. We're going to look at them today, and they are the simple time signature and the compound time signature. The simple time signature is the most common of the two, and you will often see it written at the beginning of your music when you're first starting to learn. It will be something like 2/4, 3/4, or 4/4, where we have a number at the top representing 2, 3, or 4 beats in a bar, and a number at the bottom, number 4, representing crotchets, or 1 beat notes in a bar. Now, if we set that up using some blocks, we can see exactly how that would look. We might have 1, 2, 3, 4 beats in a bar. Now this is very easy to understand. If we take one away, we've got 3 beats in a bar. If we take one away, we've got just 2 beats in a bar. But beyond this, it can get a little bit more confusing. We need to remember that when we're looking at our time signature, we're actually going to be talking about a group of notes, and that is how we count them. And it's especially important to understand this for when we talk about the compound time signatures in a short while. So instead of counting everything as a single block for 1 beat, let's split them into halves. Let's imagine, for instance, that each beat was made up of 2 halves like this. There are 2 beats with 2 halves in each. There are 3 beats with 2 halves in each. Now 6 is a very special number, 2, 4, 6 halves, because we can actually group those in 2 different ways. The first we see here would be the simple way of combining them together in pairs, representing 3, 4. But what if we take the middle 2 and do this? Now we've created a different time signature because we have moved the 2 to make 3 on each side, and hence we have 2 lots of 3, not 3 lots of 2. So this now will be a compound time signature because each beat is made up of more than one thing. So let's recap. When everything is in pairs, we can think of it as a simple time signature. When things are in threes, we can think of it as a compound time signature. Out of interest, this one would be 6/8. We have 6 quavers at the bottom, quavers being represented by the 8, and they are counted as 2 lots of 3. Now that we have understood some of the basic principles of time signatures, let's move on to discuss some more complex situations and directly compare the simple and compound versions of each number of beats in a bar. First, we're going to start with 2/4. We have 2 beats, each of them is made up of a pair of quavers. Let's do some construction so we can pop the compound versions over the top. Okay, now we have some space, we can put some more blocks on top. I'll use blue blocks to represent the compound equivalents. So we want 2 beats in each bar, made up of 3 quavers. So here we have 3 over the top of each of our 2s. This gives us 2 beats in each bar. One is represented by groups of 3, one is represented by groups of 2. Now, it is very important to understand that this means that they have the same numbers of beats in a bar, but a different number of quavers. Here we have 6 quavers, and here we have just 4. This is 6/8, and you might think of this as 2/4. But remember, you could also think of it as 4/8, because there are 4 quavers. We just usually divide it down to make it into a simpler number to understand, and hence we come up with 2 crotchets. But we don't do that with this one because it is a compound time signature. Moving on, let's add a beat to each of our rows. If we add a beat down here, we've now got on the lower side 3/4. We've got 3 pairs of quavers. Let's add a top row. So one more beat gets added. Now at the top, 3, 6, 9, we have 9 quavers at the top, hence 9/8. And 1, 2, 3 beats at the bottom. Both are triple times, 9/8 and 3/4. 3 beats in each, but made up of different numbers of quavers within each beat. Moving on, let's add one last beat. At the bottom, we will have 4/4. And at the top, one last 3 will make the number up to 12. 3, 6, 9, 12, so 12/8. Here we have the compound version of 4/4 and the simple version of 4/4. This is 12/8, 4 beats in each, quadruple time. And here at the bottom is the simple version with 8 quavers, 4 beats with 2 quavers in each. I'll now play you some examples of what these time signatures will sound like. Here's an example in 2/4. It's the Soldier's March by Robert Schumann. And in 3/4 we have a Minuet by Krieger. And in 4/4 we have King William's March by Jeremiah Clarke. On to the compound time signatures then. Here we have 6/8, which is a piece by Robert Schumann called The Wild Horseman. piece in 9/8, Serenade sur l'eau by Jacques Ibert. Now for the example in 12/8, I've actually written a small piece of music that I think demonstrates the feel of the time signature very well. It's very hard to come across a piece of piano music specifically written in 12/8, and I struggled to find anything that really felt like it wasn't just in 4/4 with a triplety feel. So see what you think to this example, and if anyone else has any good examples of piano music specifically written in 12/8, please let me know in the comments. I hope you found today's video useful and it's helped you to visualize what time signatures actually mean. There is a lot more to be discussed, and we will hopefully see in future videos maybe an explanation of irregular time signatures, which happen far less frequently. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, and if you'd like to also subscribe to the channel, that would really help us out making more videos like this in the future. Thanks very much and enjoy your journey.